네, 지금 Malibu Rocky Oaks의 주인과 함께 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. Howard Light입니다. 안녕하세요. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking.
Hey, so first of all, so you're the owner of this whole estate, right?
Yeah, well, it's a family-owned estate, but
Family-owned estate.
I'm owner slash CEO slash drinker, I guess you could say.
So this place is beautiful. It has a beautiful view, and you have how many bedrooms here? 4?
It's a 4-bedroom, 10,000 square foot estate, but the interesting part is that we're on a 2,000-foot pinnacle that is surrounded by alcohol, which isn't such a bad thing.
I tried your alcohol. It's lovely. It's amazing. So, what sets Malibu Rocky Oaks apart from other vineyards?
Well, Malibu Rocky Oaks being situated right in Malibu, we're the newest AVA, which is an American Viticultural Area, so we're recognized as a wine-growing region now. And the funny thing is that people are like, oh, you have a vineyard in LA. That's actually where they started. First vineyards in California were in Los Angeles, so we're kind of bringing that back. But what's very interesting is we're actually in a Mediterranean microclimate, and I believe it's less than 3% of the world has that over land. And so we have this perfect little spot in the hills here. Our altitude actually makes our wines better, higher acid, and I think I heard you guys talking about the healthy part. Actually, the higher the altitude of the wine, the thicker the skin on the grape, and that's where the healthy part of the wine is. The resveratrol is in the grape skin. So we have, I always say, the healthiest wine in Los Angeles, which is, now everybody's gonna want one, because you know LA.
Yeah, that's funny because when we think wine in California, we think of Napa Valley, and you said it started in LA.
Started in LA.
So why do you think it's coming back?
Well, what's interesting is it's kind of a historical thing, is that during Prohibition, they couldn't produce it here anymore, and then it started in Napa and up north. But what's interesting is that's kind of like New World wine, and I say that we are the New World wine. Being this kind of like French style wine with New World California alcohol and fruit, we have this beautiful marriage of wine that is very specific to the region. We get this soft mouthfeel, but high alc, but it's just a very specific flavor in the wine. And what's very interesting is that there's new rules now that you cannot plant any more vineyards in Malibu. So this is grandfathered in, and it's going to be very, very special, more special than it is now.
So you guys are exclusive now because of that new law.
Yeah, so now the wine is becoming such a demand that we've actually increased our output to the max.
I heard that grapes sometimes under stress turn out better. I found that very interesting. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, the less you water and the more they reach down into the soil. Here is volcanic soil, so it's very porous, so they really have to look for the water. And when you stress them like that, more nutrients actually go in, and you get that actual earthy flavor that we get from here. I know everyone always talks about, oh, how much do you water and all that. These are actually drought-tolerant Noir vines, so we actually barely water.
That's great for the drought.
Yeah.
A lot of like other places, like farmers are having trouble because of the drought, but you guys are actually kind of benefiting from the drought. Would you say?
Well, coming from LA, you got to be sustainable. So we do a lot of sustainable practices here. We don't machine farm. Everything's hand-picked, handmade, and everything we do has kind of the environment in our minds.
That is awesome. And so when was this estate built?
Well, the vines were first planted in 2003.
2003.
And the vineyard was first producing in 2006, because it takes about 3 years. And we got our first medals, so we're like, I think we have something here. And then my family built the property actually as a real estate venture, but I've actually turned it into one of the fastest moving wine brands in Southern California. And being fast moving wine in LA is like the center of the universe.
Yes.
So yeah, but our quality of wine is to a new level, and it's just incredible. And I'm actually very passionate about it, but it's nothing like making fine wine, and especially in Los Angeles.
Were you always a wine person?
I mean, who isn't? But no, but what I found out is that wine is the international currency for connection. You're here, for example,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
And it's taken me around the world so many times. Our wine is now throughout California. We're in Australia, we're in China, we're all over the place. And it's amazing that the brand is, this region kind of was adopted before we bought or after we bought it. So now we have this kind of, and we're in, and it's like impossible to get back into it. But what's interesting is as I like to say, is Malibu in itself is a celebrity. So I say the property is like a celebrity, I'm the agent, and the wine is like the acting. So what's better than that for LA, right?
Oh, exactly.
So
this is a vineyard, and then it goes to the winery.
Yes, actually, I think there's laws that you cannot produce the wine in Los Angeles County as a winery, and I think it's a water deal. So we make everything up north.
Okay.
But also, that's where the industry is, and that's where they make the barrels. That's where, they supply bottles and all that. So it's also another way we keep our costs down, so the customer is not getting wine that's unattainable. The word around the street is the wine is way too good for the price, and I go, well, you know what? That's a compliment to me. So, but yeah, that's Malibu Rocky Oaks. Kamsahamnida from Malibu Rocky Oaks. Is that close enough?
자, 지금까지 말리부 로키 오크스를 쭉 둘러봤는데요. 경치도 너무너무 아름답고 인테리어도 너무 이쁘고 와인 맛도 너무너무 좋았고요. 정말 환상적인 하루였습니다. 여러분도 즐거우셨나요? 그럼 다음 시간에도 완소에서 더욱 유익하고 재미있는 스토리로 여러분을 찾아뵙겠습니다. 지금까지 시청해주신 여러분 너무너무 감사하고요. 다시 보기는 LA팀.tv에서 보실 수 있습니다. 오늘 시청해주신 여러분 너무너무 감사합니다.